Om Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpadam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punaha Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavat Vyapta Dehaya Dakshina Murtaye Namaha Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Parthaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Grathitam Puranamunina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitamritavarshiniim Bhagavatim Ashtadashadhyayiniim Ambatva Manusandadhami Bhagavad Gite Bhavadveshini Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Marutaha Stunvanti Divyaistavaihi Vedai Sangapada Kramopanishadai Gayanti Yam Samagaha Dhyanavasthita Tadgatena Manasa Pashyanti Yam Yoginaha Yasyantam na vidusura suraganaha Devaya Tasmai Namaha Devaya Tasmai Namaha. Okay. Madhavi. Yeah. Tattva Bodha. Atha.
Bodha. Sorry.
So we're not going to chant Bhagavad Gita today.
Oh, okay. Sorry, Guruji, which...
just repeat after me. Atha.
Okay. Atha.
Chaturvimshati.
Chaturvimshati.
Tattvopattihi.
Tattvopattihi.
Tattvopatti.
Tattvopatti.
Prakaram.
Prakaram.
Vakshyamaha.
Vakshyamaha.
Brahmashraya.
Brahmashraya.
Sattva-rajas.
Tattva-rajas.
Tamo gunatmika.
Tamo gunatmika.
Maya asti.
Maya asti.
Ataha.
Ataha.
Akashasambhutaha.
Akashasambhutaha.
Akashadvayuhu.
Akashadvayuhu.
Vayostejaha.
Vayostejaha.
Tejasa apaha.
Tejasa apaha.
Adbhyah prithivi.
Abhyah pruthivi.
Yeah. So we are doing the seventh, in that link I sent, it is the seventh section, I think.
Page 267.
Yeah, in the Tattva Bodha book, Prabhupada says,
267.
okay. So how many of you have not listened to the last class? Okay, Sundari. Yeah, so it's last class is a prelude to this. So we looked at or reviewed the whole idea of Srishti. So Brahmashraya Maya Asti, that whole process we talked about. Okay, and so today we are going to review this Tatpada Vicharaha, also sometimes called Ishvaraha, the section here in Tattva Bodha called Ishvaraha, and the text itself is Tattva Bodha. Some of you are aware of it, others, the text written by Adi Shankaracharya, and good text to understand all the concepts that we encounter in Vedanta. Okay, and so here what was said was that Brahmashraya Maya Asti. How did creation happen? That is the idea. And so Brahma is Nirgunam Nirvikaraha. Okay, we've studied that. Atma Nirgunam Nirvikaraha. Brahma Nirgunam Nirvikaraha. So Brahma is incapable of transforming itself to anything. Therefore, Brahma Ashraya, but then we say no, there is creation. There is something. I got created. Before that, many things were created. So creation is there. I claim. Everybody claims. So in order to answer that claim, Shastram says, Brahma Ashraya Maya Asti. Yeah, okay. Maya is there. Maya is Anadi. And Maya, depending on Brahman, is there. And that Maya is the one who transforms, keeps on transforming. And what you perceive is that transformed Maya. Of course, still Brahmashraya. Previously Brahmashraya, now also Brahmashraya, depending on Brahman. And that Maya, which is Trigunatmika, which is endowed with three gunas, Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas. Maya Asti, we saw that. Okay. Now the process of Srishti is happening. Okay. So that is how we are beginning. And Atha Chaturvimshati Tattvopatti Prakaram Vakshyamaha. So there is, he says, it's a 24 element model, 24 element creation model, the methodology. That is what he's saying. So Brahma doesn't only supports whatever there is to support, does not get involved. Like it is somewhat like the light that you have turned on in your room. Okay, it doesn't do anything. Light does not do anything for you, but you are acting, you're busy from morning to night, and without that light you can't act, you can't do anything because the room is dark. Okay, and you need that light in order for you to do whatever you have to do. That is Brahma. Brahma is just so prakasha kriya also is not there. Even the shining, it is shining also, that kriya, it's not there. Kartrutvam, it is consciousness. It makes you perceive whatever you perceive, and it makes you do things, kriya, etc. The whole srishti happens. So that is, so Brahma has really no role per se, because the minute you say role, then you have to ask, what is that role? What is that special role Brahma is playing? Brahman is playing. And so, therefore, here Maya undergoing change, and the first line here, Tataha Akashaha Sambhutaha, and from that, Tataha means from that. From that means what? Maya Asti. Okay, I was said earlier. So the subject of the previous sentence is Maya. So from that Maya, correct? From that Maya, what kind of Maya? Brahmashraya Maya. Further, what kind of Maya? Brahmashraya Trigunatmika Maya. Okay, that kind of Maya. From that Maya, Akashaha Sambhutaha. Space was created. Space became manifest. Very useful. Created, if we say. We will see shortly why the word created may not be a correct word. Okay. And for our purposes, it's okay. The word creation can be used. And the reason we are shy of using the word creation is because our idea of creation is Vivartatvam. Brahmashraya Maya Asti. We'll talk about that in a minute. That Vivartatvam once again. And so Akashaha Sambhuta. Space got created. Okay. Now, this is not an ordinary statement. Newtonian physics, classical physics, okay? All the physics and chemistry and biology we studied, space is granted. And Newton, space is granted. Space is given. And then all kinds of laws, forces, and this force and action and reaction, equal, opposite, everything is happening, okay? We studied all those laws in our school and college, okay? And everywhere space is given. Newton also assumed space is given. Space means time. We should include within bracket. We have to put kalaha, time also. Everything is given until Einstein came, because Newton and these people, they didn't bother to study other cultures. They were interested in dominating other cultures and putting them down. Therefore, whatever we said, they either copied from us or just put us down, rejected whatever we said, or copied. The more we study, what is happening is more I'm finding everything, many things that we studied all came from India. Like Pythagoras theorem, famous theorem, Pythagoras theorem, every child studies it. And this Pythagoras came to India and studied from our rishis, and then he happened to study Bodhayana. Bodhayana has stated in the Sulba Sutras. And so that I'm saying these things are going to change in India in 20 years. This revolution is going to happen. What kind of revolution? The textbooks are going to look different. They're going to slowly transform themselves, and it will look very different. 30 years from now, the child will be studying Bodhayana theorem. Maybe Bodhayana Pythagoras theorem. Maybe even some history behind why it is called Bodhayana Pythagoras theorem. Correct? That's the kind of transformation I see happen. So here, Akashaha Sambhutaha, my dear friend, God created the world in 6 days, and 7 days is not acceptable because this day itself was not created. For day, you need sun. Sun was not created, day was not created, time was not created, space was not created. That is the creation we are talking about. And so this one statement is enough. It differentiates Advaita Vedanta from every philosophy in this world. Every world, every philosophy, every idea, every religion that says, my God is there. And He's the latest God, He's the first God, whatever God you want to talk about. This idea, people have not grasped the idea itself. That means when somebody says, my God is the greatest God, that person has not understood anything at all. Here, Tataha Akashaha Sambhutaha. From that, space got created. Science is also now seeming to agree that from Big Bang. What is Big Bang? After Big Bang only time and space came. That means science seems to accept that, yeah, space is also not a given. Not a given. Okay. This is famous Taittiriya Upanishad Vakya. It is borrowed from there. Okay. Tasmad va etasmad Atmanah Akasha Sambhutaha. Okay, there he says, Atmanah Akasha Sambhuta. From Atma came Akasha, space. Okay. So brilliant. That one statement is enough to differentiate this Advaita Vedanta from everybody else, and scientists should run towards this. So, so this Akasha. Okay, let's look at a few more things. Akashad Vayuhu. Akashad Vayu. So from that Akasha, which is space, that means space is not nothingness. Okay, nothingness is not space. You may think space means nothing, and you have to put something inside space. That is possible, but that does not mean space is not nothing. Space is nothing. Space is space. The fact that there is a possibility of accommodation, the idea of spatiality is an idea, and that idea is not an idea of nothingness. Okay? So from that Akasha came Vayu. Came Vayu. Vayu means you can say often translated as air. Air. Okay? So that gaseous principle, gas principle came about. Okay. Now, when Shastram says something like this, here Tattvabodhakara assumes that you understand that from that Akasha, which is Maya Sahita Brahma, correct? Came Vayu. Okay, came Vayu. And so, how should you translate this sentence? You should say, Akashat Maya Sahita Brahmanaha Vayuhu Triguणात्मिका Vayuhu or Triguणात्मिkaha Vayuhu Sambhutaha. Correct? Because Trigunatmika. Why Trigunatmika? How can Vayu be Trigunatmika? Because Maya is Trigunatmika, and whatever product is created from a raw material, whatever product is created from a raw material, the product will have the qualities of the raw material. Very simple to follow, right? And if we don't follow, we can always take the help of our pot. Okay. So if you say no, I'm not following Guruji, if you say okay, no problem, I can help you with that, and that is, here is a pot. Pot is a product, and then if I ask you what is the color of the pot, then take any quality. Color of this pot. The color of this pot is, suppose I say it is something like brownish red or something. If you say that, then I have to say it is the color of the pot is nothing but the color of clay. Pot doesn't have any unique color. It doesn't contribute anything to color. Clay contributes the color. What is the density of the pot? Yeah, it's definitely heavier than water. If you put it in water, the pot will just sink. So density is greater than 1. And then whatever it is, do you know the density of clay? Yes, I know. Okay. That same density is the density of the pot. What about the odor? Does it have any odor? Yeah, seems to have an odor. That odor is the odor of clay. Like this, if you go, the qualities of the clay have come into the quality of the pot. Okay. So, Karana Gunaha Karyeshu Anuvartante. This is a law. Karana Gunaha Karyeshu Anuvartante. Okay, the properties of the Karana, the raw material, the source, the origin, follow through into the quality of the product, follow through into the product. So therefore, this Vayu also has the same quality as Maya. Akasha has the same quality as Maya. Vayu has the same 3 attributes. Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. Okay, that is implied from all these things. Okay. Now, then of course, Vayoho Tejaha. Tejasa. Vayoho Tejaha means what? From Vayu came Tejaha. the principle of fire or light. Okay, tejaha. And then tejasa apaha. Tejasaha apaha. From that fire came liquids, apaha, waters, sometimes translated. And then water is better. And then because liquids will contain water and other things also, therefore water, pure water, let's put it that way. Adbhyaha Prithivi. From that pure water came Prithivi. Prithvi means solid material. Okay. Earth, sometimes translated as earth, and not to be confused with planet Earth. Okay. Okay. Now, this is a very interesting order, correct? This is an interesting order because Akasha, space, is only connected with sound. It can only be heard. Space is connected with sound. Sound can be heard, but space cannot be felt, cannot be tasted, cannot be smelled, etc. Okay. Then Vayu, wind, if you take, then wind, summertime, you turn on the ceiling fan, wind, you feel the wind blowing. Okay. You can't feel space, but you can feel the wind blowing. Okay. And of course, you can hear the wind also. You can hear it also. Hearing and feeling are there. But then what? You can't see Vayu, you can't smell, you can't taste. Correct? So two. One from one attribute, two attributes. Then Agni. Agni is all true. The touch is also there. Um, and sound is also there. You can hear Agni. Fire can be heard. And then what? When the fire is burning, you can hear it, right? That's what is meant here. Agni, heard. And then Pratyaksham, then you can see Agni. Three attributes, correct? Eyes, you can see. Therefore, that is why we say Agni Sakshi, etc. You don't say Vayu Sakshi. Nobody says Akasa Sakshi and all, they don't say. Apaha Sakshi and all, no, nothing. Agni Sakshi, that's it. Agni Sakshi means the first element among the five that you can see. And so Agni. So everywhere. So this Agni Puja, etc. is there. Deepa Puja, Homa, and then Harati. Everything involves fire. This fire is a Pratyaksha. Panchabhuta. Ammashraya Maya is very much present in Agni. Like that, that particular thinking is there. Okay? Agni. And then Apaha, taste, add that fourth quality. Taste, Prithvi, add the fifth quality. It's odor. So Apaha does not have odor. Akasha to Apaha does not have odor. Akasha to Agni does not have taste. Akasha and Vayu does not have visibility. Okay, correct? You can't see it, etc. Now I think you understand. Therefore, that order is significant. That is how our Shastram is presented. And then then let's look at this next shloka, next line. Okay, all right, Hemalata. It's so hard to spot anybody here. Ah, there you are. Vijay, I'll make your co-host. Okay. ये तेषां
पञ्चतत्त्वानां
मध्ये. So those who are reading madhya it says in Sanskrit. So madhya is not a printing mistake. Madhye, the sandhi is working. Madhye akashasya
आकाशस्य
satvikamshat
सात्विकांशात्
श्रोत्रेन्द्रियं
श्रोत्रेन्द्रियं
सम्भूतं
सम्भूतं
वायोः
वायोः
सात्विकांशात्
सात्विकांशात्
त्वगिन्द्रियं सम्भूतम्
त्वगिन्द्रियं सम्भूतम्
अग्नेः सात्विकांशात्
अग्नेः सात्विकांशात्
चक्षुरिन्द्रियं सम्भूतम्
चक्षुरिन्द्रियं सम्भूतम्
जलस्य सात्विकांशात्
जलस्य सात्विकांशात्
रसनेन्द्रियं सम्भूतम्
रसनेन्द्रियं सम्भूतम्
पृथिव्याः सात्विकांशात्
पृथिव्यायाः सात्विकांशात्
घ्राणेन्द्रियं सम्भूतम्
घ्राणेन्द्रियं सम्भूतम्
right. So given these 5 tattvas, panchabhutas, okay, so some of you are looking for slides. Let me see if I can pull up this slide. There it is. Because if I finish this lecture and I forget showing the slides, then the whole purpose will be lost. Okay, let me just share this. See, sharing a screen feels so odd in a Vedanta class for me anyway. Because now the key is for you to understand. Once you understand, then it should be, slides should become self-explanatory. Okay. So are you able to see my screen? Okay. Vijay, is the screen visible?
Yes, Guruji, can see.
Okay. All right. So how do I move this? Okay. So let's look at the top. Brahman Maya. Brahmashraya Maya Asti. Okay. That is what we saw. Then ignore this word cosmos, universe, etc. Then what happens? Tataha akasha sambhutaha akashad vayuhu vayoragnihi agnerapah adhyaf prithvi. So what happened so far is that we have just looked at what is called Sukshma Bhuta Srishtihi. Sukshma Bhuta Srishtihi. And I'll mention that in a second, why I said that here. And then, of course, here you have, now evolution is continuing. And since Akashaha is Trigunatmikaha, Vayu is Trigunatmikaha, because Maya is Trigunatmika, now each of this has 3 fundamental attributes, and we have to see, do these attributes transform? Okay, and how they transform. That is going to be the next few steps. Okay, I've stopped sharing the screen. And so, Sukshma Bhuta Srishtihi, that phrase I put there, okay, in the slide. And so we can say this Srishti is going to go through 2 main steps. What are the 2 main steps? First, subtle elements. Then subtle becomes gross, sthulam. Sukshma, then sthula. Okay, 2 steps. That's all. Very simple creation model. The Darwin's theory of evolution goes on and on and on. So we don't have to study all that. We have to just say first Sukshma, from Brahma and Maya, you get Sukshma Bhutani, then Sthula Bhuta. Then Sukshma Bhutani, subtle elements, there are 2 sub steps. Okay. Sukshma Bhuta Srishti, you saw the elements Bhuta, and then some aspects of these elements create other Sukshma elements, okay, and that is called Sukshma Bhautika Srishti. From Bhuta, you create Bhautika. We are going to see that. Just now we read, we are going to explain that. And so from certain elements, like from Sattvika element of Akasha, what happens, etc., is going to be talked about. From Rajas, what happens, etc., talked about. And that part is also creating same Sukshma subtle elements only. But then these are not fundamental elements. The elements are further undergoing some modification. Okay, so that is called Sukshma Bhautika Srishti. First one is called what? Sukshma Bhuta Srishti. Now the second one is called Sukshma Bhautika Srishti. Both are Sukshma Srishti only. Both are all creation of the subtle elements. Yeah, Anirudh.
So the how so when we said Vayu, it is not the same as the air we feel, correct? It's a sukshma. So how does one think of the Vayu element, sukshma Vayu? Is it the what? It's not the essence. Clearly, there is nothing that I can think of which lets me grasp the concept of sukshma bhuta. So I just wanted some. What does that mean? What does sukshma mean?
Yeah, Sukshma. So Vayu, the air, if I say, air is the gross air. Okay, which can be further, we know it consists of oxygen, carbon dioxide, nitrogen, etc. And that's material air. Okay, but here, as you've already pointed out, this is Sukshma. So it is that which makes air have all these qualities is called Sukshma. So you can't really pinpoint it and say this is Sukshma. He says there's all the attributes, that which gives all those attributes to air is called Sukshma Vayu. Okay,
So
that
the quality of airness, then.
You can say airness. You can say
quality of airness.
Correct.
Kumarji, your internet says that when bandwidth is low and then off and on you're breaking.
Okay. Is my audio breaking off and on? Somebody else? Vijay?
No. Not happening to us.
No, not at all. No break.
Okay.
No,
All right.
no.
So last time also, Ramesh, you had a problem. Yeah.
It says in the
So the audio, I think.
and then your signal says red.
Okay. It could be.
I will check with my
not
iPhone.
to us. Not
Thank
to
you.
us.
Key thing to remember here is that this Akasha, Vayu, Agni, etc. The Agni, even though I said Agni is visible aspect, okay, even though I use the word visible, the minute something is visible, we can only visible gross things, okay. But I apparently contradicted myself. Why? Because we are talking about Sukshma Agni. That subtle aspect of the gross Agni is the Agni that just got created, not the actual fire itself. But then I switched to visibility and then I said, oh, Agni is visible, etc. I said. So, but then I had to come back and say, no, the gross Agni is visible, but the subtle aspect of the gross Agni, it's called the Sukshma Agni, and that is what got created. Wait for a while until the gross Agni gets created. Okay. All right. Good. So the subtle Agni does not have a different name. So Agni. So that is how they are presented here. Okay. Good. Now what happened? We just read this. Etesham Panchatattvanam Madhye. So given these five elements, Panchatattvanam Madhye, in the middle of all this, he says, Akashasya Sattvikamshat Shrotrendriyam Sambhutam. Now, he is talking about the sense of perception. Shrotrendriyam Sambhutam. The sense of hearing, Sambhutam, got manifested. How? From what? Akashasya Sattvikamshat. From the Sattvika aspect of space, Akasha, came this Shrotrendriyam, came this sense of hearing. So that shows sense of hearing is very well connected with Akasha. So it seems our rishis knew that this space and sound and space and sound, the connection is there. Signs also. Okay. So that is the connection here. And then similarly, Vayoho Sattvikancha Tvag Indriyam Sambhutam. Tvak. Tvak means sense of touch. Tvag Indriyam, sense of touch. Tvak means touch. And so the sense of touch came from the Sattvika aspect. There is Rajas aspect, there is Tamas aspect for all these things. And that I'll come to it later, he says. But first, just the Sattvika aspect of this Panchabhuta called Vayu became the sense of touch. What is the sense of touch? It is the Sukshma aspect of your gross skin. Skin is associated with the sense of touch in our body, and that Sukshma, that subtle aspect of the skin that enables the skin to perceive, and that is called this Tvagindriyam. Tvagindriyam. Sound, yeah, obviously sound means what? Hearing, sense of hearing, Shrotrendriyam. So it is not this earlobe, it is not the eardrum, it is not the pinna and all these words that remember in school and college we studied all these things. I forget all those words. So that whole apparatus that we draw on a piece of paper, no, not that apparatus, that is yet to come, but that sense of hearing, that sukshma, subtle aspect that is going to also manifest into the physical ear and make that physical ear the center, the receptacle of the sense of hearing is what got created from Vayuhu, from the Sattvic aspect of Vayuhu. Okay, then Agnehe Sattvikam Shat, what happened? The Chakshurindriyam Sambhutam, the sense of sight, eyesight, the vision, sense of vision got created, and Jalasya Sattvikankshat Rasanendriyam Sambhutam, from the sattvic aspect of water, the sense of taste got created. Sense of taste, not the physical organ tongue, but the sense of taste got created. And then Prithivyaha Ghanendriyam, from the sattvic aspect of this earth. I'm trying to find a different word. Every book says earth. I'm still trying to find a different word. And so that we don't confuse the word earth with the planet earth. So from the solid matter, pure solid matter, let's put it that way, pure solid matter. Okay, pure because it has yet to combine to form all the other atoms and molecules. Okay, and so that's why I said pure solid matter. Solidity, maybe also a better word. Okay. Okay, so this is what is this now? Now one aspect of the Panchabhuta has become, Sattvika aspect of each of the Panchabhutas has become, and so what all these products, the sense of hearing, etc., is called Bhautikam. Bhautikam. Previously, what did we call them as? Akasha, Vayu are all Bhutani. These are not called now, we can't call this Bhutani, they are called Bhautikani. Bhutajanyam Bhautikam. What is born of Bhuta is grammatically called Bhautika, and so here we are going to use the word Bhautika for this Jnanendriyani. These are all Jnanendriya, Pancha Jnanendriyani, 5 organs of perception, 5 senses of perception. I don't want to use organ because organ is yet to come. The physical organ yet to come. Okay. Yeah. Vidyaji, what's up?
Yes. So I just wanted to ask a clarification. So this is the sattvic attribute of each of the subtle elements, right?
Each of the subtle elements. Correct. Correct.
Okay.
Each of so far we only done. We are still in the subtle world.
Okay.
Still
And what did you say the sattvic attribute of subtle akasha? What is that?
Shrotrendriyam, sense of hearing.
Or for subtle akasha.
Correct. Sattvic aspect of the subtle akasha, from that manifested the sense of hearing.
Okay. And then subtle vayu is sense of touch.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
So hearing, touch, seeing, and then tasting and smelling.
Smelling.
5 senses. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Guruji, kindly explain Granendriyam.
Yeah, Granendriyam, the sense of smell. That's all it is. Grana, that called is Granam. That's a word that they use in Sanskrit, granam, granendriyam. Okay, now let's chant the next one. I will show the slide in a second. Okay, I want to finish the next one and then show the slide. Okay, so yeah, Ramesh Krishnamurti.
Okay.
Etesham
Etesham
Panchatattvanam
Panchatattvanam
Samashti Satvikamshat
Samashti Satvikamshat
Manobuddhyahankara
Manobuddhyahankara
Chittantahkaranani
Chittantahkaranani
Sambhutani.
Sambhutani.
So, still not done with the Sattvika element yet. Sattvika aspect, I'm sorry, not Sattvika element, Sattvika aspect of these Sukshma Panchabhutani. Okay. What is that final step there? He's saying Sambhutani. What got created? Manaha, Buddhi, Ahankara, and Chittam. And what are these? Antakaranani. These are all the internal organs. Okay. Antakaranam. Okay. Internal organs. Internal subtle organs, which are four in number, by the way. And what are those four? Manaha, Buddhi, Ahankara, and Chittam. That is what he says. Okay. I'll explain these things once shortly. And how did they come about? Etesham Panchatattvanam Samashti Satvikamshat. Satvikamshat, from the Satvik aspect of these five elements came about, and Samashti, using the word Samashti. Samashti means collectively put together. The Sattva aspects of each of these elements combined together now. They are working in coordination together. It's teamwork, Samashti. Teamwork, in this case, teamwork. Okay. And then produced Manaha, Buddhi, Ahankara, and Chitta. Then Manaha. So here, before we go there, suppose you hear a sound. I hear a sound, and then quack, 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 like that I hear. Okay. Then I step outside. Then my eyes are looking at an object, and that object is a duck. Correct? The object that I see is a duck. Now, the eyes are pointing to an object. Eyes don't know that there is sound coming from an object. Ears are giving you the sound. What is the sound? Quack, quack, like that. Okay. That's all. Why? The ears function is only to pass on these sounds. Eyes function is to pass on colors and forms. That's all. In fact, that it is a duck, only the mind is saying. Okay. Because of past experience. And who says that the duck is the one that is producing the sound? Eyes are saying or the ears are saying? None of them are saying. You need a central organ that combines all the data points and then says, oh no, that duck is the one that you just saw, which just came. Previously it was not there, it came, and then that object called duck is the one that is producing the sound. Whose job is that? Manaha. This organ that is inside, and that Manaha has to coordinate with Shabda, and then this Rupa, duck. Okay. Swamiji gives another example. He gives the example of a rose. Okay. You have a rose in front of you. Okay. And you saw the rose. And then what? And then there is a doubt. What is the doubt? Is this a real rose? Real rose. These days we have to talk about real. Those days they never had the phrase real rose. What do you mean real rose? No, it can be made of plastic and all that, because you put the garland once in plastic, then the garland is good. You don't have to put garland anymore. No more. Don't have to buy flowers. Nothing. Plastic flowers. So therefore you want to do. Now what will you do to check if it is real? You have to smell it. Yes, can it smell? Okay. And before smelling, you have to what? Touch it and see. Touch the petals. You feel the petals and touch. Then after that you say, yeah, it feels like rose. But then, are you sure it's rose? Still not sure, because these days they can make anything. We don't know. And so you smell it. Smell. And then you say, yeah, it's rose. I think it's rose. There also, I think it is rose. I think is where the problem is. That means constantly doubting. And so, yeah, I'm fairly certain it's rose. Okay. So that means what? So many things have to come together, and that shows that the eyes alone can't decide what it is. Ears, touch and all, everything independent data points. And you need an entity that works in unison with all these different sense organs, and therefore Panchatattvanam samashti satvikam shat. All it has to have the attributes. The mind has to be able to have all the attributes of these five senses. Therefore, Panchatattvanam satvikam shat. And so now the mind can understand sound, can understand sight, rupa, color, form, all these things it can understand. It can process and then make some decisions. Okay. Therefore, mano, buddhi, ahankara, chittani has to be a product of all five. Okay. That much we have seen. Okay. Then what is manaha? What is? Let's read that. Okay. And then we'll look at the slide. Okay. Yeah. Who would like to? Who was Vaidya? You want to go ahead and unmute yourself. Sankalpa vikalpatmakam manaha.
Sankalpa vikalpatmakam manaha.
Nischayatmika buddhihi.
Nishayatmika buddhihi.
Ahankarta ahankritihi.
Ahamkarta ahamkritihi.
Chintana kartru chittam.
Chintana kartram chittam.
Yeah. So the author doesn't want you to make your own interpretation of these words, manaha, buddhi, etc. So defining, see, they are very, very systematic. Yeah, Maheshji, what is the question?
In the text you sent, we distributed, it says ahankarta ahankaraha.
Ahankarta, ahankara. Okay, that's fine. Ahankaraha is buddhi. In fact, it should be ahankaraha is a better word, because the previous sentence here that I had written, it says ahankara. So ahankara is a better word there.
But the textbook says, aham karta, aham krutihi.
The correct textbook says that. Yeah, both are identical. For our purposes, both are identical. Okay. That's probably why I wrote it from the book. So here it says ahankriti. All right. So these aspects are defined. Manaha is sankalpa vikalpatmakam. So in this rose example, we already says sankalpa. Rose. Buddhihi, decision. Are you sure it's a rose? Doubt. Vikalpa. Manaha. Manaha, sankalpa, vikalpa. So constantly going back and forth, doubting, resolving, doubting, resolving. Are you sure? Yeah, touch it. Yeah, it feels like it. Correct. Yeah. Are you absolutely sure? Not sure. Okay. Sankalpa, vikalpa. Sankalpa, vikalpa. So all you have to do is ask the question, absolutely sure. Then only suddenly you get shaken up a little bit. Don't put me on a spot like that. Okay. Just go with whatever I told you. That's all. And I am not responsible. They will say, we are not responsible. So every media house says we are not responsible. They are the ones who produce the whole show, but we are not responsible for what the people talk about in this show. That's it, including the news also. We are not responsible. No, then who is responsible for all this? No, we are not responsible. So then Nischayatmika Buddhihi. Buddhi is what? Is of the nature of determination. Nischayatmika, finality, decision, done. This is what it is. Then you say it's done, done. Okay. So are you done? Okay, you made breakfast today, upma. Okay, you put all the things, everything done. Everything cooked, everything steamed, everything over. And then anything more? No, nothing. Done. That's it. Close. And then now time for breakfast. Okay. So decision. Nischayatmika buddhihi. Ahankarta ahankaraha. Very important. So ahankara. Ahankara is a thought in the mind which gives me the idea of a self. I am. I am. I am is a fundamental thought in all of us, and which gives us an identity, and then which makes us pravritti. All the activities we do and relationships, everything happens. Fundamental thought is ahankara, I. The sense of I is so important, and so that is called that sense which says I. Yeah, this is me, this is me, this is me, this is me. Even though I don't explicitly say that this is me, that idea is there. Yeah, I exist, this is me, and I am doing all these things, etc. is there, or I want to do, etc. is there. So that ahankarta, that sense of I is ahankaraha. And then what? Chintana kartru chittam. Chintana kartri chittam. Chittam means memory. Chintana kartri. So here Chintana kartri refers to recollection, anusandhanam. Okay, not just plain thinking. Anusandhan, recollecting what happened in the past. that is referred to, and as this chittam. So this sometimes the word intuition is used. Okay. So all that can be put under chittam, past experiences, anything that comes out of unconscious, all that is referred to by the word chittam. Okay, nothing more to add that here. Let's read one more sentence and go to the slide. Okay, so who isn't who likes a chance here? Okay, yeah, Bhagyashree and Ramesh, go ahead and unmute yourself. Manaso devata chandramaha
Manaso devata chandramaha
buddher brahma
buddhe brahma
ahankarasya rudraha
ahankarasya rudraha
chittasya vasudevaha.
chittasya vasudevaha.
Yeah, so the author is taking pains to continue that. Before leaving this topic, he wants to say who are the devatas of these bhautikas. Bhautikas means what? This manaha, etc. Four bhautikas that he talked about, devata. So again, this is unique to Sanatana Dharma. Devata, presiding deity, devata. So everything is personified. Every phenomenon is personified in Sanatana Dharma. Correct? Every phenomenon, anything that happens, inside, outside, everywhere, connected, microcosm, macrocosm, the connection, direct connection is there, and that is evident here also. Manasaha devata chandramaha, the deity that influences my mind is the moon. Not the physical moon. Chandrama is not the devata. Devata is chandramaha, but represented by that physical object out there called moon. That is the understanding here. Devata. Not a solid object called moon. No. Devata is a subtle conscious being, and that being is represented for us by that object moon. Okay. So Manaso Devata Chandramaha. And why is what is this connection? And this connection is manifest in our English language also. And they say lunar. Anything that is connected with the moon is lunar, correct? Lunar eclipse, etc. Lunar. And then if the fellow is influenced too much by the moon and behaves erratically, what do you call that person? That person is a lunatic. Lunatic. Kya baat hai? Where is this lunatic coming from? Why Luna? Huh? So this is so absolutely amazing. There's a connection. So to understand the word lunatic, really where it's coming from, etc., we have to understand our culture. Otherwise, lunatic is just a word. Correct? So anyway, Manaso Devata Chandramaha, Buddher Brahma, and Ahankarasya Rudraha. Buddher Brahma. So Brahma is the presiding deity of Buddhi. Okay. Give me a second here. So, Buddher Brahma, the presiding deity of Buddhi, the intellect, the deciding faculty is Brahma. Brahma. Hey, suppose you ask, what is this Brahma? Where did Brahma come all the way? We talk about Shiva, Vishnu and all, but Brahma, there is no temple. We don't say, get up in the morning and chant a shloka for Brahma. Nowhere we do that. Nowhere. Except maybe Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu. There he comes, okay? But otherwise he is not there. Nobody has a, Chaturmukha Brahma in their home, in the puja room. Not there. So here Buddha Brahma. Okay, so Brahma is the husband of Saraswati. So I can make some connection there. Oh, Saraswati, okay, Vani Devi, Vag Devi, and then Buddhir Devi, etc. Okay, so Brahma is behind Saraswati also. So we can make that connection and say Buddha Brahma, and then Ahankarasya Rudraha. Rudraha. Generally, the word Rudra is used means some kind of a fervor is there, anger, ghoram, so like that. So therefore Ahankara is Rudraha. So Ahankara is what is responsible for all the damage that happens in this world to ourselves, correct? Ahankara. So everywhere Ahankara, that is enough. And Ahankara is hurt means Ahankara can do a lot of damage. And so Ahankara is Rudraha. Rudra starts playing the Rudra Tandava. And then Chittasya Vasudevaha. Chittasya Vasudeva. So look at this. Interesting the way they said it. It's just mind-boggling to me. Chitta means what? Memory, we said. Memory means what? Something that happened a long ago. Something that happened a long ago continues to remain, and then you recall today. Means it has remained, that it has been in your mind for all these years. It has been in your mind, correct? That means that memory is preserved, that thought is preserved, that experience is preserved. So sense of preservation, okay, we attribute to Vishnu, Sthitikarta, one who preserves. And so therefore here the word Vasudevaha is used, and I need to look into the etymology of Vasudevaha. Other than Vasudevasya Apatyam is there, that is Vasudeva also. Krishna is called Vasudeva, but here connection with Vishnu. So that is these are the devatas. So now let's look at the slide here before we conclude for today. Let me see. Okay, all right. Tell me if you can see my slide.
Yes, Guruji.
Okay, so we saw this Sukshma Bhuta Srishti, Pancha Sukshma Bhutani got created, and then there are three aspects to each, or three gunas to each of these things. And so what happens to those gunas? Okay. Now, so the sattvic aspect of the five. Wait, can I close this thing? Yeah, bring it down. Is my screen showing any
Yeah, yeah. Red dot is moving.
red dot? But otherwise, you can see the entire screen, huh?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, good. So you've got the sattvic aspect of each of the five panchabhutas, and each of that undergoing the modifications like we saw, and sattvic aspect. Akashasya sattvikamshat shrotrendriyam sambhutam, we saw that, and then and then the various devatas of each of those indriyani are given here. We did not cover these things, dik, vayuhu, suryaha, varunaha, ashvinaha, etc. But then you got the senses, five sense organs, and then move this up there. And then finally, samashti shastvikamshat. Samashti shastvikamshat, manaha, buddhihi, ahankaraha, chittani, antakaranani, sambhutani. And then their respective devataha, manasaha, devata, chandramaha, etc. Ahankarasya rudraha, chittasya vasudevaha, buddher brahma. Okay, that's what this slide says. Now, the name here is, I say here, number 2, Sukshma Bhautika Srishti. Previously, what did I say? Number 1 was Sukshma Bhuta Srishti. The fundamental Sukshma elements, Panchabhutani, Mahabhutani, also called Mahabhutani, because they are the basic and therefore called Mahabhutani. So those are Sukshma Bhuta Srishti. Now we are talking about Bhautika Srishti because these are all derivatives of the Panchabhutaha. Bhautika, another word is derivative, correct? Derivative of the Bhuta. So we'll continue this discussion further. Few more couple of slides are left. And we talked about, what did we say today? So the Panchabhutas got created. Then the sattvic aspect of the Panchabhutas gave rise to sense organs and the mind, which has 4 aspects of the mind, quote unquote mind, right? Manaha, buddhi, ahankara, and chittam. And that second type of srishti is called Sukshma Bhautika Srishti. First type was Sukshma Bhuta Srishti. Now you can guess what's going to happen. Next, we are going to have Stula Bhuta Srishti and then Stula Bhautika Srishti. That is what we're going to see in the next class. Okay. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.